Hey book besties, Jordan here with a totally rad shopping alert that's all that. Remember making those perfectly curated mixtapes for your BFFs? Well, I've done the same thing, but with an amazing collection of bookish must-haves in my flagship shop. From aesthetic bookstagram props to cozy self-care essentials, I've personally selected everything your bookish heart desires. It's like having your own personal shopping bestie who just gets you. Ready to treat yourself or find the perfect gift for your fellow romance reader? Head over to flagship.shop/she'sallbooks. Because shopping for bookish goodies should be as fun as a literary sleepover. That's flagship.shop/she'sallbooks, where every purchase supports your girl in this podcast. Later, besties.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad to get to be here.
So excited to dive into your most recent release. But before I get started with that, I want to introduce you to the audience, just in case anyone has not heard about you. If you're a new author to them, maybe they're hearing about you for the first time, or maybe they already know who you are and they just want to learn something new about you. So I'm going to share your intro with the audience or the listeners, the viewers. Some people watch, some people listen, just so that they can get to know you a little bit better. All right, besties. Jenna writes heartfelt, closed-door contemporary romance that'll have you swooning and maybe even healing a little bit too. When she's not writing, she's either curled up with a good book, baking something sweet, or lifting heavy at the gym. Love a woman of balance. She lives in the Pacific Northwest and has been writing since she was 7. And yes, her first love stories featured cows falling in love and romance on the Oregon Trail. We love a legend in the making. And Jenna, your book is fabulous. I cannot wait to talk about putting down roots. I have a deep dive for you and tons of questions to get the audience hyped up for it. I posted my review on Goodreads earlier today. I know this is almost 2 weeks out, about a week and a half out from when viewers are going to be able to watch this episode, but I can't wait for them to hear all about this book. It is a chef's kiss cowboy romance and everyone's going to love it. So I don't know if you've ever watched I think you have watched an episode, but just in case you haven't, or if there's any viewers who are new to the show, I do my author interviews with 90s nostalgia vibes, clearly. If you're watching this and not listening to this, you can see. And so I use my handy dandy, yes, I have kids who watch Blue's Clues, paper fortune teller. So this is going to guide our questions. Each number inside of the fortune teller corresponds with the question I have for you. Of course, sneaky me, I have more than 8 questions, so I'm going to throw in a lot of extra ones in there. And we're going to play some fun 90s games, all with bookish twists. So I have to ask, because I ask almost every episode, and it feels weird if I don't ask, what did you call this when you were growing up?
Fortune teller.
Okay, great. Some people like to correct me like, that's a cootie catcher. And I'm like, where are you from? Because it was definitely a fortune teller where I'm from. Okay. So we're going to use this. It's hard to see for some reason in this Riverside, but I will read you the colors every single time so you don't have to memorize them. Are you up for it?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to deep dive using these questions to learn all about putting down roots and you as an author and a person, mainly an author. Okay, your colors are orange, purple, green, or pink.
Purple.
Purple. Nice. A lot of people always gravitate towards pink. I think it's because of the lava lamp or my chair, and they're like, I don't know. Okay, purple. Love it. PURPLE. And your number options are 2, 3, 6, or 7. 2. All right. Question number 2. All right. I'm going to start with the obvious for this question. So, Rhett Lawson is our male main character. And actually, before I dive into this question, silly me, let's give our audience an overview of the book, because I'm about to just dive in and start talking about all the characters. And I knew I was forgetting something. So will you share with the audience just like a high level overview of the book, because we're going to do the deep dive, just for folks who haven't read Putting Down Roots, and I know they're going to eat it up. What's up, book besties? Welcome to another episode of She's All Books, where we dive into the raddest reads that will totally blow your mind. Grab your favorite drink, kick back, and let's chat all things books. because life's too short for boring stories. Ready? Let's get this book party started.
So, Putting Down Roots is a small-town cowboy romance. It takes place in the fictional town of Roots, Texas, and it follows Olivia Parker and Rhett Lawson. Olivia comes to town just taking a mental health leave from work and is staying with her family, lives in Roots, and so it's kind of her journey through that, and of course, falling in love, because it's a romance. And just kind of all the fun things in this little town.
It is such a fun read. We're going to dive into the tropes, microtropes, all the things. Thank you for giving us the high-level overview. Back to question number 2, because you chose color purple. Rhett Lawson is a cowboy. He bakes. He plays guitar. He supports mental health. We love him. We ride at dawn for him. Where did he come from? Like, how did you create this character? How fast did you know this character? Like, tell us a little bit more about Rhett and all the things when it came to developing him as a character.
Rhett was an interesting one. Coming up with his name, I was literally like researching Southern male names and and I think even his name changed very early on. But he was definitely, I'm kind of the type of writer that has to just write things and kind of figure out where the story is going to go. I always have like a kind of idea, but it never ends up being what I think it's going to be at the beginning. Rhett was very similar to like my writing style, where I definitely did not know that he was going to bake or that he was going to play guitar early on. Was a pilot, and I totally cut that. He was a cowboy. It was a lot.
Man of many, many talents.
Yeah, exactly. But I think at the end of the day, it really came down to like things that I like to read about, like in a male main character, and also I think the central point for him was someone who was like emotionally safe. I like male main characters that you feel like you can express your feelings to and be vulnerable with, and they're going to be supported through it all. So that was like really the central point, and then it all just kind of went from there.
Absolutely. And he is an emotionally intelligent male, which we all know is very hard to find. He definitely has the green flags to like her feel safe, the female main character. He's just a man of many talents, even though he ended up not being the pilot as well. He's still a man of many, many talents, and we love him. All right. Thank you for sharing that. So I'm taking it you're like a pantser versus a plotter? Or are you like a mix of both? Yeah.
I'm kind of I'm trying to be more of a plotter, but it just doesn't work every time I try.
Take on their own life. So
yeah.
All right. Green, orange, pink, or purple?
Green.
All right. GREEN. 1, 4, 5, or 8. All right. Question number 4. All right, you gave the readers so many top-tier tropes. That's like almost a tongue twister. He falls first, and harder, a found family, no third act breakup. Which one of the many tropes and microtropes that you included in this book was your favorite to write?
That's a good question. Honestly, I think the small town was really fun because I got to literally just create my own little world, and I love small town romance because you get to know all these minor characters in addition to the 2 main characters. So that was really fun for me, and then it's part of a series of interconnected standalones, so knowing that those characters are going to get to continue to live on in further books has been really fun for me. So I guess I'd have to go with the small town.
Were there any tropes that you like went into writing this book and you're like, this trope is like a non-negotiable, like I have to include this trope, or did they all just feel right?
I definitely went into it knowing that I was going to make it small town cowboy romance, and then I think everything else kind of just fell into place as I wrote it.
I love the small town vibe. It's a trope that always is gonna not hit home, but I always know I'm going to enjoy it. It's like a security blanket when it comes to tropes. Like you said, in small town books, most of the time, you get to know all these side characters, like people in the town and people who have these like little roles that you absolutely like love or hate. Most of the time,
Yeah.
and so it makes it really enjoyable because you do get a lot of depth to those stories because of those extra characters. However, I imagine it's probably really challenging as an author to have to like come up with all those names. Like a lot of times in small town romance, there's like diner names or like
Yeah.
parts of this town in addition to like all the characters and side characters' names. So, like I'd imagine that would be rather challenging.
Yeah, I definitely like coming up with the names of some of the businesses. I feel like this is silly to say that I'm like not that creative considering I write books, but like I feel like I'm not like that type of creative,
Right.
and I had a hard time with it.
You definitely are like big picture creative. I imagine it's like those little fine details can be challenging for anybody,
Yeah.
anyone. Because you're creating a world. Like you're actually like creating like it's not just fantasy books that create their own world. Like these books create their own world too.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. That's done. All right. Pink, orange, green, or purple?
Pink.
Pink. All right. PINK. We have 3, 6, or 7.
3.
3. All right. Question number 3. I absolutely love like the mental health rep in this book. I love that I love for me that Olivia had anxiety. I don't love that for Olivia. But as somebody who can relate, it's always feels good or it's always, I don't know the right words to use, but
Yeah.
you find comfort in finding reps of characters who are very relatable, and Olivia was that for me. So I was wondering if the anxiety arc for Olivia was something that was challenging to write. Was it easy to write? I feel like sometimes like personal experiences, whether like you yourself have anxiety or somebody close to you has anxiety, can like help shape those characters. So what was it like writing Olivia as a female main character, but also that piece of it?
This could go down a whole rabbit hole. Yeah. I started writing Putting Down Roots when I was working, actually, ironically, in public accounting, same job as Olivia has.
Wow.
I absolutely hated it. I was having regular panic attacks, a lot of anxiety, and so definitely writing this book was kind of 2 parts, I guess. One, like, therapy for me to,
Yes.
like, write this world where someone can kind of get through all of that difficulty. And also, with all of my books I write, I really want there to be relatable main characters that kind of like you said, where someone can read it and connect to the characters. And obviously, I don't want people to be able to connect to that element because anxiety is not fun. But I think it's nice to know that you're not alone in experiencing that. And that's something that I really wanted to convey. So, yeah, it did come a lot from personal experience, and I found it pretty easy to write those scenes. I mean, it was maybe like emotionally difficult at times. Like, there were times where I could feel myself kind of getting like amped up writing things because it was a lot of like my own lived experience. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people I talk to, whether it's authors or readers, they all tend to gravitate towards books that they can relate to and that feel real and raw and relatable. That's pretty redundant. I keep saying that, but there is like an element to books like that that have these reps in them versus like the billionaire romance that is all butterflies and rainbows and he has all this money and he's smoking hot. Those are still fun to read. Trust me. There are days where I'm like, I just need that
Yeah.
to read. But also like the depth of the realistic, like relatable books are so comforting in their own way too, because you see pieces of yourself in those characters and you relate to it. And sometimes you even learn about yourself while reading those characters. So it's always like really nice to find books with those like mental health reps. I think a lot of us women and millennials and Gen Zers have anxiety, probably have
Mhm.
had it for a long time and are just now recently learning about it or recently noticing it. So it's exciting when, for me, it's exciting when authors include those reps in their books.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. That was not a crazy rabbit hole. That was a wonderful rabbit hole. All right. Pink, purple, green, or orange?
Orange.
Okay. ORANGE. 2, 3. Oh, no. You already did 2 and 3. 6 or 7?
We'll do 7.
7. All right. Question number 7. Juggling too many things. My fortune teller, my notebook, and my questions. All right. Question number 7 is Rhett takes care of Olivia during a panic attack. Those of us with anxiety know all about those. And he does it right. So how important was it for you to write mental health representation, but through a romantic lens? And I will tell you how it impacted me reading it, but I want to hear your side of it first.
I think it was something that I really wanted to write about because obviously I had my own lived experience, but I think there was like the romance aspect of it, getting to see that someone can love and support you even when you're going through these really hard times. I think that's so beautiful. And that's, I think, one of my favorite parts about romance is seeing these like imperfect people fall in love with each other. Even through their imperfections and loving those imperfections. And so that was something I really wanted to convey with this book, especially with anxiety being such a personal thing. Like, I don't know, it was healing for me too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that means it lines up directly with like how it felt as the reader of this book. Somebody who experiences anxiety, and I'd imagine, I can't speak for other people who experience anxiety, but it's nice to see how an ideal, healthy relationship and dynamic would work in situations where you feel most likely vulnerable, you're feeling all sorts of emotions, but vulnerability is probably one of them, and how that can impact like relationships and romance in general. So I when I say swoon, I think I even put in my review on Goodreads, like, we're tattooing Rhett's name on our arm. Like, we love him. Like, he is such a good green flag, especially for women who are like, sometimes wondering, like, are there good men out there? Like, we know he's fictional, but like, there are good men out there who would do those things. And so I love how you wrote that part of the romance and how it plays with the mental health rep piece of the book. All right, we are moving along back to our handy dandy fortune teller. Pink, green, purple, or orange? Pink. All right. PINK. Would you like to answer question 6? It's the last one in this cluster.
That sounds great.
I was hoping you would say that. Question number 6. All right. We have, you can tell by all these questions how much I love Rhett. So sorry ahead of time. I will make sure we answer some questions that are not all about Rhett. We've got cooking. We've got guitar playing. We've got door opening, baking, and panic attack comforting, which we just talked about. These are just some microtropes with Rhett that makes our hearts flutter. But I have to say, the one microtrope that when I was reading the book, I was like, thank you, was the door holding, because I'm from like a southern small town and everyone holds the door. Like, you as a woman, at least growing up when I grew up there, like, there was never a time where like I'd have to open the door. If there was a male, stranger, not stranger, in front of me walking, there was never a time that I would have to open the door for myself. They would wait for me to cross the door. They'd hold the door open and you walk in all the time. I went away to college, and the college I went to was like, so I grew up in like the southeast part of the state. The college I went to was like in the southwest part of the state, and you have people coming to this college from all over the place. And I remember one time walking to class, and I'm like walking behind these guys, and I'm just naive and like used to where I come from, and those guys clearly were not from the same town I was from. And I almost got smacked in the face by this door because like they weren't going to hold it open for me, and I'm just like so used to it because it's just like the culture and of like where I was from. And I just remember like it was a literal almost smack in my face, but it was also like a figurative like smack in my face. Like, what is going on? And now I live in a town where like nobody holds the door for you. They pretend like you don't even exist. And I'm like, this is so sad. So that microtrope with Rhett that you included in this book, I was like, thank you, a man who holds a door open. So anyways, that's my little story about that. But what are your favorite microtropes with Rhett, and I want to hear your favorite microtropes, if any, with Olivia.
Definitely he comforts her during a panic attack was one of my favorites. I enjoyed writing it. I enjoyed the way that it like built up that relationship between the two of them, but also the guitar playing, that was really fun to write.
Yes. That makes a lot of people swoon. Like, the guitar playing is very swoony.
Uh-huh.
And it was very hot for Rhett to play the guitar. In real life, if a guy started playing the guitar for me, I think I would like melt under whatever piece of furniture I was sitting on. But it is
Me too.
Some girls love it. I loved Rhett doing it. It would have to be the
Yeah.
right situation for me. But I also get like super uncomfortable and awkward. So that's a me thing. It's fun to
Yeah,
read.
I feel like I'd be the same way.
Yeah. It depends on the person and like how serious they are about it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was a lot of fun. Because I love music personally, and I had a lot of fun creating a playlist for the book and all of that. That helped with my writing, and picking songs for him to play and having that add like another layer to the book was so fun.
Absolutely. I love books that include playlists. I was very excited that this book included a playlist, and I love, love,
Okay.
love when there's songs like mentioned throughout the book.
Mhm.
Playlists, oh my gosh! And I know there's a lot of readers out there who are like, "Oh, the book has a playlist. I'm gonna check it out." So if you're
Yeah.
watching or listening, the book has a playlist. Make sure you're checking it out.
Yeah. And I love including the songs in the book, and I'm happy that you like checked it out because that is, I think, a big part of like enhancing the reading
Yes,
experience.
yeah. And it gives you like a vibe of the book. And like for me, there's two things when if I'm going in blind to a book, I do judge books by their covers, and it's not like in a bad way, but like I mean that in the sense of like if I see a cover, some covers can just like draw me into a book. Like I don't need to know what it's about. Certain covers, I'm just like I'll be reading that. Like I have no idea what it's about, but I love it because of the cover. That and then playlists. If I see a playlist that like an author posts on Instagram that like goes with the book that's about to release, and I'm like vibing with it, then I'm going to read that book. So those are my two instant sellers for me. Is like
Yeah,
an awesome cover and then a great playlist.
I love that.
Me too. All right. Do you listen to music while you're writing?
Not usually. Sometimes with specific scenes, if I mention a song in it, I will listen to the song like over and over again while I'm writing the scene. But otherwise, I don't usually like to listen to music. I need
Need
full
focus.
focus.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Green, orange, pink, or purple?
Green.
Green. See too many things in my hands. Pen. GREEN. We've done all those. We're going to budget. It's not your traditional way of playing paper fortune teller. We have 1, 5, or 8.
Do 8.
8. All right. Question number 8. Okay. The town of Roots felt like a character in itself, which is something we touched on earlier when we were chatting about small town romances and why we love them so much. This is going to be a challenging question, so you can totally like not answer it. And I have another backup question for this because this is like rude of me to put you on the spot with it. But if Roots had a town motto, what would it be?
Well, there actually is a part in the book. Uh,
That might be why it stuck out to me as like a question. Like maybe I read it.
when Olivia comes into town, she drives into Roots, and there's a sign up on the side of the highway, and it says "Welcome to Roots," where everyone wants to put down roots or something.
Yes,
And
yes,
she's
yes.
like,
That's why it stuck out to me. I was gonna say it has to be a play on putting down roots. Like it just has
yeah.
to be. Where did you come up with the name from?
I wanted something to kind of play on the town name. I'm actually planning on doing that with all the titles for the books in the series. So,
Exciting.
yeah. I think it was wanting that tie, and then also it just fit perfectly for the story with Olivia coming from this other place into this town and absolutely falling in love with it. Like, of course, she's going to want to put down roots.
I love that. And if you give me an inch, I'm going to take a mile. So you just gave us that little teeny tiny tidbit. So my next question, you can say, I'm not answering that, is, are all of these books going to be small town romance books, or are they going to vary?
Yes. I'm planning 2 more in the series, and they'll all take place in Roots and be small town romance.
Very cool. That's exciting. All right. And back to our fortune teller. Okay. Orange, purple, pink, or green. Somehow we've saved my 2 speed rounds for the last 2 ones. That's kind of crazy how it worked out. Purple, pink, orange, or green?
Purple.
Purple. All right. Purple. Budging it again. Would you like to answer question 5 or 1?
1.
1. All right. Question number 1 is a speed round of Never Have I Ever. Did you ever play Never Have I Ever?
Yes.
Okay. So usually you're playing this probably like at a party with people you know, and you're like purposely saying things that you've never done that they've done, but they can put fingers down. We're obviously putting a bookish twist to it. I don't know you at that level, so I'm going to try my hardest to get all 5 of your fingers down. It's a speed round because my fingers aren't going to be up because I'm not an author. So that is how I'm going to try to get your fingers down. Are you up for the speed round of Never Have I Ever?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, 5 fingers up. And if you have done it, you put a finger down, and we'll see how many I can get down. Some people might do it like as you raise a finger if you've done it. Anyways, we're going to put a finger down if you have done these things. So never have I ever written a character based on an X.
No.
That'd be kind of crazy. I feel like it would have to be like an X in the book is based off of an X in real life. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not starting off on a good foot. That's okay. We're going to get there. Never have I ever Googled cowboy phrases while drafting.
I've definitely done that.
I sometimes wish so badly I could see like authors' Google search history from like when they were like writing.
No.
It would be crazy. Some of these authors I interview, love them all to death, have some very interesting scenes in their romance novels that I can't imagine what their search bars look like. Okay. Never have I ever cried while writing a scene. I imagine that's pretty common. Never have I ever made a playlist for one chapter. I know you have a playlist.
Not for just a chapter.
Okay.
Songs that kind of like correlate to it.
Yeah. Never have I ever stayed up past 2 a.m. because the characters in my head wouldn't shut up.
I'm gonna have to say no. I'm not a night owl, okay, so that one's.
I probably would like just be writing, like this isn't late for me. It's not even that late, and I'm like already struggling with like forming complete thoughts and sentences. I can't imagine like being up and actually like working, because that's a lot of work that you're doing writing a book after 2 a.m. That would be crazy. All right, well, I got 2 fingers down, right? 2 out of 5. I'm gonna count it as a loss. It's sad. This is common. But thank you for playing that with me. That was fun.
That was fun.
You only have question number 5 left on the fortune teller. So just for fun and nostalgia, will you entertain me with one last round of the fortune teller?
Yes.
Great. Pink, purple, green, or orange?
Orange.
Orange. Orange. Oh, we landed on it, and I didn't have to pay it. Would you like to answer question 5?
Yes, please.
Perfect. And it's another speed round. This time it's a speed round of Would You Rather. Did you ever play Would You Rather growing up?
Yes.
Or maybe you play it every day and I'm not judging. Okay, so for folks who are watching or listening, you might not have, so I'll give you the quick little directions of how to play Would You Rather. I'm going to give Jenna another speed round of questions scenarios, and she's going to tell me in each scenario which one she'd rather do. Which one she'd rather do. I don't know why I'm having a random cough. Okay. Would you rather only write small town romances forever, or only write big city romances forever?
Definitely small town.
I think that was a pretty easy one. Would you rather your love interest serenade you or cook you a 5-course meal? So play the guitar for you or cook for you?
I would have to say cook for me. And I honestly, I don't know if it would have been different before, but I'm definitely thinking now about how awkward it would be to just sit there
No,
while
I'm
they
sorry.
serenade.
I think it is so fun to read. Any
Yeah.
like rock star romance book I read, any book that I'm reading, when like a guy is singing to the girl, I'm like swooning. I'm like, whoa, I love him. I want him tattooed on me. Like, absolutely
Yeah.
love it. Reading it, I'm just so awkward in real life. I like dating and stuff. Like, that would just be awkward for me, but it's so funny because it's not like that reading it. Like, there's not an ounce of
Yeah,
awkwardness for me reading it. But also, I just love food, so good for me. And
me
food, I
too.
get to be fun. That was not a dig at Rhett, what I said earlier. That was a dig at me. Would you rather your character go viral on Book Talk or get turned into a Hallmark movie?
I guess get turned into a Hallmark movie. I think it'd be really fun to get to like see my characters in that way and see the story like in real life because it all has just lived in my head for so long.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
am the biggest Hallmark movie fan. Like, I will watch Hallmark, like, oh my gosh, as soon as I get back from trick or treating with my kids on October 31st, I get them to bed, I get in bed, and I turn on Hallmark, and they have started the Hallmark Christmas movies. And it is like my own little favorite tradition because then every night for January 1st, all I'm watching are Christmas movies, like your normal ones, but then Hallmark Christmas movies. So
I love it.
I would vote for that as well. Last one? Nope, I have two more. Would you rather write dual point of view forever or one single person point of view forever if you could only pick one?
I think dual point of view. My first novel was single person point of view, and that one is definitely easier to write because you
Yeah.
only have to be in one person's head. But I love dual point of view. Like it was fun to get into the male's head, and it's really fun to get to kind of play on getting to see like the same moment from different perspectives. I love that.
Yeah. I love reading dual point of view. I also don't mind reading single point of view, but we all love a man written by a woman. I think that there's like so many like memes and gifs about that out there. But I do love getting inside both of the characters' heads. I was thinking about it actually when I was writing these questions. Like, there's only a handful of books that I've read that were single point of view, person point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And even those books, like that I can think of off the top of my head that like I loved and was obsessed with. But even those books, the authors then go and they write the male point of view like later, and then they publish
Yeah.
it like as its own book. So like I still got to get into their head, which I appreciate because I do love to like hear like the male like grumpiness or whatever it is of that situation. It's
Mm-hmm.
fun to get into both of their heads. Do you think you'd ever write third person point of view?
I don't know. I really like being in their heads, and I feel like there's not a lot of books that I read nowadays that are third person.
Right.
So I feel like it would be harder for me to write too because it's not a lot of what I read.
Same. I have a hard time. I talk about all the time on this podcast, but I have a hard time, and it's a me thing, but like wrapping my head around third person point of views because I think I value so much to getting into their head and like feeling like I'm
Mm-hmm.
in that character that I get with the first person point of view. But I have read like two or three third person point of views recently where I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost don't even recognize I'm reading it because like the way it's
Yeah.
written, I feel like I am in their head. Also, I have learned because there's so many good third person point of view books out there that I just have a hard time reading. Like
Mm-hmm.
eyeball reading, as my friend calls it. They're easy to listen to. So like a lot of times when I'm on my walks in the morning, I'll listen to third person point of view books on audio. And I feel like it's a little bit easier to follow along for me. But then there are people out there who are like diehard third point of view people who like love them.
Yeah.
I think most people kind of can go both ways. But I love the most the first person.
Yeah.
Last one. Would you rather get stuck in a snowstorm with Rhett or have to be his fake date to a wedding?
Ooh. I think I'm gonna go with Stuck in a Snowstorm.
Same, all day, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be very good at pretending.
No, because I would want that to be all sorts of real and not pretend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No,
I think it, like, allows for more, like, intimacy, kinda.
oh, yes. Absolutely. A snowed-in romance around Christmas
Oh,
or
yeah.
the holidays. Chef's kiss. Actually, you could do that with one of yours. It'd be a small town, snowed-in romance.
It's in the back of my mind.
There we go. I will be the first person to check it out. Okay, so now we're at the segment of the show where we play MASH. Did you play MASH growing up?
Mhm.
Okay, so MASH stands for Mansion, Apartment, Shack, and House. And the way we would play it most of the time growing up, if you were like me, you weren't paying attention in school, you were just playing MASH all day long, you would typically play it with a friend, like we're about to do, and say it was like my game of MASH. I would be choosing for each category, it would be like husband. I would be choosing like two guys I crush on. And then my friend would throw in like a person who I couldn't stand or whatever. And so we would do that through all the categories. It'd be like husband, car, career, uh, city, number of kids, like all these categories. We're going to do this with a bookish twist. So if you're new to the show, we are going to use Smash to plot Jenna's next bestseller. And it's all for fun and games. But if you do write it, that'd be so great. So we are going to go through bookish categories. So they're going to be a little bit different. Some might be the same from like the classic MASH to get us a plot for your next book. All right. So our first category is going to be male main character name. So it's more fun if you choose names that you haven't already written yet, but totally up to you however you want to take this game. I'm going to have you choose two in each category, so you get to pick two main male character names.
Let me think. I have a note in my phone. I'm trying to see if I can find it where I had character names, and I kind of want to pull those.
Yeah. I don't know how you guys do it. I don't know how you do it.
Okay, Grayson.
Okay.
And Sam.
I'm going to say Jack.
I like it.
I'm warming up. I'm being nice at the beginning. We'll see what direction I go with this. A female main character name.
Haley and Savannah.
Pretty name. I will say, I'm going to say Jordan. I almost just said Jenna. Jordan. Still waiting for that female main character with a Jordan name. Okay. Male main character career.
Doctor.
There you go.
And athlete.
Love it. I am going to say surveyor. Female main character career.
Journalist.
I wish I could do this, like showing it the entire time. That'd be so much more entertaining for folks watching. I can't write. Not only would it be hard to write like this, it's mirrored. So sorry.
Yeah.
Journalist. Engineer. I love it. I'm going to say music teacher.
Ooh, I like it.
Looking at these career matchups is kind of funny. Okay. I have a new one I'm going to add. You're the first author I'm going to do this one with. Moving forward, I'm going to use this one. But this is going to show like in a week and a half. So if people watch lives, they might see it. So where would this book take place? This is a new one. I'm excited. I mean, it's new for this game. It's something that was probably played in MASH all along.
We could do like a university. Well, I don't know. Well,
yeah,
sure.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I guess maybe just a small town. Does that work?
Town. People will love that. I'm gonna say a cruise ship.
Oh, that's fun.
A cruise ship, but I bet you would write a wonderful cruise ship. I also have never read a cruise ship romance. I've read a lot of like they're at a vacation resort, like an all-inclusive thing, like a hotel.
Yeah.
I've never read like a hopefully not stuck, but on a cruise ship. Okay. Number of kids.
We'll say 2 and 4.
All right. I will say 0. And then tropes.
I'm just blanking.
Because it's hard to ask authors some of these things because you guys have to like think about it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I had thought about this before because I knew it was probably coming, and I'm thinking of some of them on like this might not make any sense with what we already have on there. Because I want to say like cowboy and hockey romance.
And hockey romance. I'm going to say one I've never said before. And one that I haven't read much of. Firefighter romance.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, we didn't choose firefighter as any of these careers.
Yeah, that was the thing. I'm like,
dang. I'm changing that. I'm going to say, you're not going to like this one. I love it. A lot of people don't. I have a feeling you don't because of a comment that you made in on one of your posts. Second chance romance.
I do like that.
It's different than third act breakup. I think we talk about third act breakup, but second chance romance is not the same.
Yeah. I honestly don't really mind a third act breakup either,
Me
but I
neither,
know
yeah.
that it's not as popular
But some
now.
people are very torn, or not torn,
Yeah.
but very divisive on that. Okay, let's do. Okay, so what happens now, for those of you who have never played this before, bless your hearts, we are going to draw a spiral. See, this is where I can show you I did pay attention a little bit in school. I'm going to show some math and science, some STEM skills off in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to draw a spiral until you tell me to stop. And then I'm going to, and I'll show you guys this for all of you who've never done this before. After we're done, I'm going to draw a line through the spiral and I'm going to count all the points of intersection, and that's going to tell me when to slash and slash and slash and slash until there's one left in each column. So I will show you. I feel like I have to school some of the Gen Zers to watch my show. All right, so here I go. Tell me when to stop. All right, and then I draw my, see, I paid attention, line of intersection. No, my line and finding my points of intersection. I barely paid attention. And I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So every sixth, I'm going to cross out until we're left with one in each category. Now, it gets very boring when I do this because I can't talk and count, as you just saw, very well. So while I do this, I want you to chat with the audience, tell them all about this release, tell them about anything upcoming, tell them where you post all your news, like if it's Instagram, whatever, and then I'll share our results. For folks who are also new to this, I post on Mondays, MASH Mondays, where I highlight a book and I use MASH to like highlight the different parts of the book, like the characters and stuff. And so we'll have to turn this into one of my MASH Monday posts as well. All right, I'm going to start counting, and it's all you.
Okay, no pressure.
No pressure. I could also just like put elevator music on and like fast forward at like 3 times the speed during this part. Totally up to you.
I'm sure I can find a few things to talk about. As far as learning more about me and my books, everything is under Jenna Rogers books. So I'm on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, and I have a website, and they're all Jenna Rogers books, which makes it really easy. Putting Down Roots is going to be the first in a series of interconnected standalones, so you'll get to see some of the characters from Putting Down Roots get their own love story.
Yay!
And I'm planning on releasing the second book, hopefully the end of this year, third book next year. So they'll be coming soon. Next book is already drafted, just working through edits and things now. And I also have published, my debut came out last year. It's called Where the Sun Lights the Shadows. That's a friends to lovers romance, takes place at the lake, and is told through dual timelines, so you get to see the male and female character grow up together from, I think they're 9 at the beginning of the book, all the way to age 19, which is fun. Yeah.
I got our results. These are great. I can already feel it. I got a couple my way. That's fun. Okay. So I have our beautiful MASH results. If that camera can focus, please. If that doesn't bring you back to the 90s and early 2000s, I don't know what would. All right. So our MASH male main character is Grayson. Our female main character is Haley. Grayson is a surveyor. Sorry, Grayson. Haley, no, there's anything wrong with surveyors. Haley is a music teacher. It takes place at a university. I can see that. And then she teaches music to college people.
Yeah.
And then the number of kids, there's 0 kids yet in this book. And the trope is Cowboy. We'll figure that out. Maybe the school mascot is the Cowboys. I don't know. And somebody lives in an apartment. So I didn't guarantee you a full story plot, but here is the bare bones of a definite next bestseller, I can tell. But thank you so much for entertaining me and playing that with me. That is always probably more fun for me than the author, but thank you. All right, let me look real quick before I wrap anything up to see if we missed any questions. Sometimes we do. Oh, yes, we did. Oh my gosh. The one question that I was dying to ask about from when I was reading was about Maverick, the dog. Okay, so how could I do that? I'm so sorry, Maverick. I love dogs. He was a scene stealer in this book, and we love him. So was he based off of a real life pup?
Yes.
Oh.
Very loosely, but my parents, during my grad year of college, they adopted a German Shepherd. It's a girl. Her name is Ember, and she's the best dog we have ever had. She's amazing. And so I definitely pulled a bit from her, and not to spoil anything, but she gives hugs and things, she'll lean into you and that kind of thing, and she's such a sweetheart, and so I definitely pulled a lot of inspiration from her for Maverick.
Awesome. That's so cute. Well, thank you so much for hopping on here and chatting with me tonight. I know that if you are watching or listening to this episode, you have heard at least one trope or micro trope or something about this book that you are definitely drawn to. So I hope all of you go read this book, leave Jenna some love, ask us questions in the comments. We will get to those questions. I'll make sure to tag Jenna in if I can't answer the questions for her. I'm also going to put in the caption all of the links to connect with Jenna. So if you want to make sure you're following the right person on Instagram or wherever, all of her information will be linked right here at the bottom of this episode so that you can quickly click and connect and get your hands on Jenna's books. Jenna, you have another book also before this one, right, that you had published a year ago. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where the Sun Lights the Shadows. Kind of a mouthful. But...
Awesome. All right. So go check out Jenna's books. Definitely check this one out. And there's a series coming. Do we know when book 2 will be released-ish or not yet? Of the series?
I'm hoping for the end of this year.
Okay. Cool. Very nice. And it's interconnected, so it's not like you need to wait for that one to get released. So go get your hands on it. Thank you again, Jen. I hope you'll come back when that second book is released and come back on the pod and we can chat, and I'll have to think of some other games for us to play.
Definitely. I would love that.
All right. Bye, besties. Thanks for tuning into this episode of She's All Books. Until next time. All right, book besties. That's a wrap on this totally rad episode of She's All Books. If you're digging this vibe, don't be a square. Smash that subscribe button faster than you can say as if. Want to keep the convo going? Hit me up on social media at She's All Books. Drop a comment, share your fave book, or tell me what you want to hear next. I'm all ears. And hey, if you thought this episode was all that, spread the word. Tell your besties, your mom, even that cute barista at the local coffee shop. The more, the merrier. Stay tuned for the next episode, dropping Mondays at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a blast. Until then, keep it real and keep on reading. See ya!